You know what, these days it does not seem strange at all to see a fifth grader walking around with a cell phone or a texting teen. But for a lot of parents, knowing when your child is ready for that responsibility, it isn't easy. To help take the guesswork out of that equation, Cathy visited with Jeff Beavers at the AT&T store in MacArthur Crossing for some tips.
There comes a time in every parent's life where they have to make a very important decision, and that decision is, when is my kid ready to have his first cell phone?
It's an important decision.
So we're back with Jeff Beavers, the retail sales manager at the AT&T store in MacArthur Crossing. I understand you guys have some pretty good tips for determining when your child is ready for that very first cell phone.
It's a very personal question for everybody. How are your kids ready? How do you know your kids are ready? We get this all the time. We have folks come in and they ask us these questions, and we try to help guide them on that. One of the things we'll ask them is, tell me a little bit about your son or your daughter. Do they have a pet? Have they been taking good care of their pet? Have you gotten them any expensive toys? And if they're doing a good job with other things and other responsibilities, then it might be time for them to get a phone. We actually have a wide variety of phones. This is an example of a phone we carry. This is an HTC 8X. It's actually a 99-cent phone on a 2-year contract. It's a Windows phone and a smartphone. So it's got access to things that kids would probably enjoy. It's got Xbox on it, and it's got Microsoft Office, so they could do things that they would do at school. So it might be a good choice for a really responsible child for their first phone.
And once your child has that first cell phone, what kind of tips do you have for the things that they'll need to observe?
There's some privacy concerns that you probably want to talk to your kid about.
Absolutely.
So for example, when's a good time to post something online? What's appropriate? There might be a picture they take of mom or dad that mom or dad doesn't want on the internet.
Oh, I can't even begin to think about that. Yes, you're right.
So having that conversation and making sure they understand that there are certain things you can do and certain things you can't do is important.
When your child gets a little bit older, there's another conversation that you need to have that has to do with texting and driving.
Absolutely. Not texting and driving is one of the biggest things that we have ever pushed as a company. It's not only socially responsible, it's just something that everyone should just naturally do. We don't want people to think texting and driving is okay. You are 23 times more likely to get into a car accident while texting than you are while you're not. And that is a crazy statistic. We don't want people to text and drive, period. That is actually, in my mind, almost as bad as drinking while driving. We have a whole platform designed around don't text and drive. From taking the pledge, where we have folks go and pledge to not text and drive, to simply having applications. We actually had an employee design an application that's actually called AT&T Drive Mode. And Drive Mode is something that you can enable. You can turn it on or turn it off. So as soon as you get in the car, you enable it. And all the text messages that people send you while you're driving, they don't come through to you. So you're not distracted and fumbling around in the cup holder or in your pocket trying to pick up the phone or look at it and reply to a text.
Okay.
They just get an auto reply that tells you, I'm driving, I will text you back when it's safe. It's a really, really great application, and we believe very strongly in it. Much like our It Can Wait, take the pledge. You go to itcanwait.com, and we can take the pledge to say, I will not text and drive.
And that's a very important pledge to take. And when you think about some of the terrible accidents that people have had because they were distracted while they were driving, involved with their telephones instead of watching the road, you want to make sure that everybody you know has taken this pledge.
Absolutely, and you can see some of the messages on the actual website. Think about the last text message you sent. Was that last text message important enough that it could cost you your life?
Yeah, that's a good comment to make about it. So I'm ready. If
you want to take the pledge? I've taken the pledge.
Okay, well, I haven't taken the pledge, but I'm ready to do it today. Okay.
So right there on pledge now, and submit.
And submit. I am in.
One more person has pledged to not text and drive.
It's a real important pledge to take, folks. Come take a look at some of the items that you can find here at the AT&T store in MacArthur Crossing, and learn a little bit more about things that you can do to keep your kids safe.
Did you know that ICTN is available on AT&T Uverse? Go to Channel 99 and select Irving Community Television from the drop-down menu. And if you and your child want to take the pledge, visit itcanwait.com.